Some more news now from your part of the region. A martial arts centre in Suffolk could have its electricity cut off after thieves stole a safe containing money to pay the bills.
Dozens of children and adults use the Bushido Martial Arts Centre in Lowestoft every week. The break in it means its future is now under threat. James Bush has this report.
Young kickboxers begin another evening training session at the Bushido Martial Arts and Fitness Centre in Lowestoft. It's an after-school activity that keeps them fit and teaches them self-discipline. But before the class got underway, they were told about the break-in at the centre.
The safe they actually ripped from the floor, which was bolted to the concrete floor, which they ripped out. That's what had all the money in.
The money that's been stolen had been raised to pay vital bills.
The safe had roughly about £3,500 in it. That was through all the money that I've actually tried to save up because we've got a couple of bills that we need to pay. Obviously, if the bills aren't paid, this club's going to get closed down. That's what I've been told. If we can't get the money back, then obviously we're going to struggle. We might survive a year. We don't know.
The club says it offers a unique opportunity for young people in Lowestoft to learn about martial arts.
The kids, obviously, they're getting off the streets, they're getting fit, so we've given them the means to come down, enjoy themselves and learn something in the process.
Suffolk police say they're investigating the break-in and are appealing for anyone who has any information about what happened to contact them. In the meantime, the children are planning a sponsored walk to raise money to replace their stolen funds. James Bush, Anglia News, Lowestoft.
Now, what is your favourite vegetable? Well, researchers in Norwich are trying to find the perfect pea to encourage more of us to eat them.
I love them. Now, scientists at the John Innes Centre have been given a slice of £1.5 million to study thousands of varieties of peas and identify tastier peas which can be grown more easily. Alpa Patel has our report.
How do you like your peas?
It has to be mushy and very salty. I don't like a pea unless it has a lot of salt flavour to it.
I like them with rice and chicken, rice and peas. That's my favourite, yeah.
I love mushy peas off the Yarmouth Market. They are lush.
Now, however you like your peas, there's no doubt that they're very good for you. They contain vitamins A, B and C, and also iron, potassium and calcium too. That's part of the reason why scientists here at the John Innes Centre in Norwich are leading the search for the perfect petit pois. They've been given a share of £1.5 million to study thousands of varieties of peas, looking into questions like what makes one pea tastier than another and are there ways to make certain varieties easier to grow.
We have what we know scientifically about what happens during pea seed development in terms of the compounds that are made within seeds. The industry knows what standards it applies to quality in terms of tenderness, mouthfeel, the characteristics that the customer likes, and we want to bring those two aspects together.
It's hoped tastier and more palatable peas will increase demand. That's good news for farmers in our region, who in February were hit by the news that Birdseye were ending a long-standing contract with growers. The consumer pea market in our country is currently estimated at around £100 million a year. And with the race now on to make them taste even better, the future's looking bright for the humble pea. Alpa Patel, Anglia News, Norwich.
Now, a cancer care nurse at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Kings Lynn is facing an investigation into alleged inappropriate relationships with patients' widowers. Macmillan nurse Sarah Dale, who is 39 and lives in Kings Lynn, was dismissed by the hospital in January after allegations were made about her professional conduct. The Nursing and Midwifery Council, which registers and regulates nurses, is expected to begin an inquiry soon.
Local opposition MPs have condemned what they call the extraordinary behaviour of the government by imposing a shake-up of local authority in Norwich and Exeter. Last month, local government minister Rosie Winterton gave the go-ahead for Norwich to have unitary status, which means its council will take over responsibility for schools, roads and social services within the city boundaries. But in the Commons, Norfolk MPs lined up to condemn the plan.
I saw at the start of this process that it was going to completely ignore the people of Norfolk and that there was going to be no process that actually engaged people about the future of local government for our county. I'm not instinctively against unitary government at all. I think that in many ways it makes a lot of sense.
Youth groups in Essex are being invited to submit bids for a share of more than £1 million to help improve facilities for young people in the area. The Youth Opportunity Fund will allow the youngsters themselves to decide how the money should be spent. It can be used for anything from days out to capital projects such as refurbishing a building or working on a new scheme like a skate park or cyber cafe.
Football now, and there were wins for both of our region's championship teams last night. Ipswich extended their unbeaten run at Portman Road to 12 games with a 2-0 win over playoff-chasing Cardiff City. Now, on-loan striker Daryl Murphy was the hero with a goal in each half. Here's a look at the second one of those in a second. There it goes. 2-0 there. Town are now 4 points above the relegation zone, and Peterborough's slim hopes of survival were helped by a 1-0 win at home to Sheffield United. Craig McCall-Smith with the decisive goal there.
And looking at the championship table, well, looking bleak for Peterborough, but Ipswich, they are up to 17th, 4-point cushion from the bottom three. Now, with Mother's Day approaching, were you thinking of getting Mum a traditional bunch of spring daffodils?
Yeah, you just reminded me. I was getting out of that garage,
Absolutely. Oh, honestly.
No, I'll get some chocolate as well. It's anything but fair.
The finest gifts.
Well, this is what you might expect. There it is there, lovely. To expect to see this time of the year. But you may have noticed there aren't that many in bloom at the moment.
Yes, the cold weather has meant that growers in Lincolnshire, one of the country's two main areas for daff production, are weeks behind. Those poor old garages, eh? Stuart Leiths has more.
I'm a bad son.
These roadside daffodils may be starting to flower, but they're in the minority. Only a handful of flower pickers are being employed at the moment here on the Naylor's daffodil farm at Spalding in Lincolnshire, because the cold weather has caused them to bloom much later this year, which could mean that some mums might not get their daffs on Mothering Sunday.
We've had a very late spring this year, and so the varieties that we would normally be cropping for Mother's Day, like this one behind us, are about 3 weeks late. Daffodil needs plenty of light and warmth to grow, and this has been a very long winter and a late spring. Last year was a very late year for us, but this is the latest that we've ever harvested daffodils.
It's been the coldest winter we've had for more than 30 years. Britain is the world's biggest daffodil producer, with Lincolnshire and Cornwall the main growing areas. The daffodils are picked when they reach a height of 11 inches, but it's still going to be a few days before many of the daffs in this field are ready to be picked. Daffodils have been available from growers in Cornwall, but of course missing Mother's Day will have an impact on the Naylor's business.
Luckily all of our customers have been very understanding, but it just makes the cash flow slightly different. It means some of our flower croppers aren't getting the work that they would like, and the season will just be 3 weeks behind itself.
Daff production then is running a couple of weeks late, but a host of golden daffodils should be available soon. Stuart Leiths, Anglia News, Spalding.
I've been suitably told off for my attitude towards Mother's Day this Sunday. You're going to do something very nice for your mum.
I'm taking my mum for an ice cream tea.
Oh, it puts me to shame.
Afternoon tea on Monday.
Now
It was very nice. You have. It's like you're as bad as my brother. I always have to remind him that Mother's Day is coming up. It's dreadful.
Yeah, I suppose, but sons can do no wrong, can they, really?
Well, exactly. This is the problem that I have with it. Anyway...